who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with Boston.com 781-2687. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And good morning to all my South Shore neighbors and beyond. My name is Melissa Wallace. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. And today I have a very special guest who hasn't been on a Saturday show in a very long time. I can't even remember.
It's too cold.
It's not too cold. It's just too early.
It's a little cold and it's a little
So
early.
what's your excuse in the summertime?
It's summer. I was here more often.
Okay. Yeah. So some of you may recognize her voice, but when we did our Tuesday night show, she would join me a lot. And we have this little segment where we zip around the South Shore and the South Coast and we, highlight a community and everything. That's not what we're doing today, but if you remember those shows, we'll start them up again, but we got to get you back
quarterly.
Yes, quarterly. We got to get you back on more often, but
I know it's the past couple of months I'm like, I got to get some radio show time. Doing the open houses on the weekends, it's hard to.
It is hard. And you're doing an open house, which it's not till noon. You're like, what am I going to do with myself?
I know.
But anyways, for the sake of, let's just assume that somebody doesn't recognize your voice because you haven't been on in a while. So why don't you reintroduce yourself to all of our listeners?
My name is Kristen Howlett. I am a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. That's about it in a nutshell. I love what I do. I serve sellers and buyers all across the South Shore and beyond. And like infinity and beyond.
Well, I say on South Shore and beyond because I know people in other areas are listening, even other states are listening to us.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I like to say that. I know.
I have an upcoming listing coming on, and my clients are moving to the villages in Florida.
Oh, very nice. They're going to have a fabulous time.
Yeah.
There's so much to do there.
Well, we just got back from Florida. We were in Fort Lauderdale over New Year's. And honestly, we came back and I'm like, why do we live here?
I know.
No offense, Massachusetts, but gosh, it's so hard, especially coming back in January when it's like the leaves are gone and it's dreary and it's cold. And it was so beautiful there. It was like high 70s, low 80s and just perfect.
Every time we talk about our future, Ethan's like, oh, what if we lived in this state? And I'm like, hurricanes. And he's like, what about this state? I'm like, tornadoes. He's like, okay, what is wrong with you? You always come up with these like disasters. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, they happen here too. And I'm like, I know, but like, we're used to it. Like we're not
the devil
used
you know
to
is
that.
better than the devil that you don't.
Yes, exactly.
That's for sure.
I don't know. We'll see where we sort of land, one day. But anyways,
so what are we talking about
Wait,
today?
I want to say hi to Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hello. Good morning, ladies.
Good
hi,
morning.
Tim.
Hi. Kristen is back. She's back in action.
I'm back.
Right.
But
I hear you on the returning to New England in the foul weather after you've been somewhere nice and warm. I understand.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going over the land, waiting to approach and you see that white stuff scattered. It's like, no,
Oh,
come
I know.
on,
I
please,
know.
no.
I know.
Yeah, it was fun watching. We have like one of those Wise cameras in our in our driveway,
Mhm.
and we get the alerts. And I could see you guys had it like a squall. I think like over New Year's or New Year's Eve or
Oh,
something,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
we could see it, and we were like lying by the beach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It was
like,
nice.
oh, poor you. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, we've had pretty. I'm knocking
Yeah,
on wood.
so far things have been
So far, it's
fairly
been good.
calm
Yeah,
this winter.
because wasn't
Yeah.
something supposed to happen today too, and now it's
Well,
not so
we've got
much.
some rain coming in later. West of here, they've got some snow going on. Tomorrow, we're supposed to get some South Shore area. If you're away from the South Shore, not as much. They're talking 3, possibly 4 inches down on the Cape. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
I don't even know. That's shovelable, right? You shovel.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Shovelable.
Shovelable. Shovelable. Just shove it out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So wait, Tim, that's when, Sunday into Monday?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I mean, of course, it's going to happen during the Patriots game, but it's nothing we can't handle.
Yeah,
Mm.
everyone's gonna be in
Bring it
watching the
on.
game anyways, so just try to be
3
safe.
to 4
if you go
inches.
out there.
That's. I don't want to
That's
call it normal, but that's nothing. That's not too
That's
crazy.
nothing
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can manage that.
Speaking of
Yeah.
the Patriots, what are we thinking?
Just total domination.
Positive energy.
Yeah, we got to put some positive vibes out there.
Hopefully, it's total domination. But looking at their records of the two teams, they're very similar.
Mm.
Patriots are 15-3 for the season, and the Texans are 13-5. So,
Oh,
Yeah. I
gonna
don't
be a
know much
battle.
about any other team, but I overheard someone saying last night that the Texans have a good defense.
yes. That's what Brian
So-
said this morning.
So
Yeah.
let's see. We'll see what happens. But
either
yeah.
way,
Come on,
let's
Drakey.
go,
Drakey's
Patriots.
Come on,
gonna
Drake.
pull it through.
Drake, May. Let's go.
Mhm.
But yeah, so hopefully that's that'll brighten up our day tomorrow, even though it's going to be a little snowy. But yeah, so today we are going to be talking about buyers. So last week, if you tuned in, and if you didn't, it's on our podcast. So you can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com or your podcast app and find it there. But we talked about sellers and timing the market right for sellers. And now I want to switch gears to timing the market right for buyers. I think that you're a strong agent anyways, but I also think that you are a very strong buyer's agent.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that, I know that people love to work with you your last night.
Ellen and John, my
Ellen and
fave.
John. But I just think that, you have this way with your buyers that makes the process so comfortable. And I don't know if it's just you and your personality and how you handle your business, or if it's also the team that you work with and how you sort of get to that finish line with your buyers. But I know that they love you.
Oh, and I love them. I do love my clients. And I think too, we had a conversation early Monday that kind of sparked what's actually going on.
Mhm.
The nice part about being able to do this Talk Real Estate Roundtable or
Yeah.
Two Table is
Two table.
is that we can give our perspective, because we're the ones that are out every single day
Yeah.
talking to agents, talking to buyers, listing houses, showing houses. So we can kind of give our perspective, and it's interesting because I always say there's some phenomenons
Yeah.
in real estate right now. One of them is you cannot overprice your home. You can't. You can't do it. You're not going to get action. The buyers are
Yeah.
super smart. They hopefully have buyers agents that are helping them. And if you overprice, it is not the
Mhm.
time to test the market.
Well, I said that. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. So I'll say that you can overprice your home, but there's consequences.
Oh, I love that. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
I should have rephrased
So
that.
you can overprice if you're not in a rush.
Yeah.
If you want to test the market, go right ahead. But I think that you know what I said during the holiday shows, and it might have been when I did the show with Tracy, is the holidays and all that's not the time to test the market. And I said that because the more serious buyers are out there, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more for
Right.
your home, because buyers are very savvy, and the majority of them are working with an agent, which we love to see. Just make sure that agent is doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And that sort of sparked the conversation that we had on Monday. And of course, we always pull from our everyday business and everyday life to, come up with ideas for the show. So we had a discussion on Monday about some of the sort of buyer's agents that you're dealing with right
Mhm.
now. You put a couple listings on the market recently. Sort of walk us through that process.
So last Wednesday, I had a great new listing that came on, priced perfectly, covered 2 demographics, first-time buyers, and we actually had, I'd say it was almost like 75, no, I'm gonna say 50-50. 50-50 with first-time buyers, young
Mm-hmm.
buyers,
Mm-hmm.
and then we also had an older demographic that was looking for that one level
Yeah,
because it was the most
it
adorable
was.
3-bedroom ranch in North Attleboro, and we knew immediately by our reaction that it was priced perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesday, I got calls. We opened it up. I always like to open it up for showings. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I showed it, I think, 12
And you
times.
do accompany showings.
I always do accompanied showings.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, especially if somebody lives there, and sometimes even more if somebody doesn't, because I'll be honest, I don't trust that somebody's going to lock the doors,
Yeah.
make sure that the house is secured,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that everything's fine. And for someone to trust me to sell their house, it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing accompanied. I get to meet people if I kind of block it in time and have some, whatever. Or if I
Mm-hmm.
don't have anything, I go to Target and drive around. So I had showings Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had an open house on Saturday. We had one offer on Friday. So going into the open house, we knew we were in good shape. And we decided Saturday evening to put in an offer deadline
Mm-hmm.
from Monday.
So explain what an offer deadline is.
We requested that all offers be submitted by 12 o'clock. Our Friday offer, we reached out to them first to see if they would extend. They
Mm-hmm.
happily did. So we knew we had one offer, but I reached back to all the agents that had shown it.
Mm-hmm.
I had one unrepresented buyer, reached out to them, told them about the offer deadline, put it on MLS and notes. It was
It was
it was
out
out
there.
there. Monday morning, Tuesday morning, I got more calls from agents trying to get in to see that listing. And my first question was, where have you been?
Where have you been? It's been on the market since Wednesday. It's
You
6
could have
days
seen it
later.
Wednesday. And I'm not even a jerk. I just showed another one of my listings. If you can't make it, I'll show it.
Yeah.
I don't love to do it because that's kind of your job. We should do it together. But to be honest, it's my job to sell the listing. Call me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I had 2 other showings on Sunday, last minute showings, people that had come to the open house that wanted another look and one that couldn't get to the open house. But honestly, that was my Monday morning after my flood of phone calls. I was like, what is going on here?
Where's everybody been?
On Wednesday, if you have a buyer that is looking in that price range in a perfect, adorable little listing, why aren't you reaching out to your buyers, telling them, coming up with a game plan, when can we see it? Because again, you
Yeah.
had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, and then that's enough time to even get in twice.
Yeah.
You're not rushed. You could come in on Wednesday, go to the open house on Saturday, write a thoughtful offer for the deadline.
I love that you just looked at me like that. Write a thoughtful offer.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like it prompted this discussion of, now listen, I'm not perfect. Sometimes we miss things. But when we sit down for my buyer's agent agreement, buyer's presentation, we talk about what is this going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Typically listings come on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By Wednesday, we're going to have a good idea of what our weekend looks like. I'll always try to get in before the open house. Sometimes we can't. But by Wednesday, we have a good
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
finger on the pulse as to what you want to see. And it's typically we, have our communication, but like what is going on? Are buyers just looking on Zillow and Realtor and then sending it to their agents, or things are just popping up Monday when they're at work and they're scrolling through?
Mm-hmm.
Are they serious buyers?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, that begs the question. So it would be interesting to know what that buyer situation is with those agents that reached out either Monday or Tuesday. But there was something that you said that I wanted to touch upon. I can't remember. I lost my train of thought.
And I do always fight with what if this is that perfect buyer?
Yeah.
I always try to accommodate. Like, I'm not saying no showings. I do try to accommodate. I do say, you know what, we do have offers due by 12 o'clock. If we think it's doable, I'm happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, why would you want to be in that? Nobody wants to be under the gun at 11 o'clock trying to get an updated pre-approval and write an offer in, and you're stressed.
Exactly.
I've been in that situation. It's no fun.
It is no fun. What I was going to say was, especially with, I don't know how many houses were on the market in North Attleboro at the time, or even in that price range. But even if it was one of a few, it's going to pop up. So I'm just curious of why it took 6 days for
Yeah.
it to sort
And
of
we're
be a question for them.
and the title of our show today is How Can Buyers Win Without Missing Out? If you're waiting till Monday with an offer deadline at noon, sorry, but
You're
you're missing out.
Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are missing out. And the thing is that, we last week we talked about how essentially sellers can win in this market, and that's being prepared. And I think that that is exactly the case with buyers as well. You said pre-approval and not waiting to the last minute. Be in constant contact with your loan officer. If you're going for a mortgage, if you are fortunate enough to not have to and have cash, then great, you're ready to go. But a lot of the times that's not the case. So, if you just be in constant contact with your agent and with your loan officer and make those connections and have that open communication, where if the house comes on the market on Wednesday, you're prepared. You're even prepared before going, like, the open house, and if you have a private showing. And the thing is that a lot of people have to work.
Mhm.
We all have to work, especially to afford a home now. You have to work. So even if it's after hours, after 5 o'clock, after 6 o'clock, whenever you get out of work, there are very accommodating people out there.
And that listing agent talking to their sellers should have that conversation.
Yes.
Let's try to accommodate, yeah, could we do an open house at, Thursday from 11 to 1? Yeah. Are we going to miss that whole, demographic of people that
Mm.
are working, that can't get away from their desk
Yeah.
at that time? Yeah, absolutely. But perfect example, the offer that we accepted was an agent that I have worked with previously. She was the listing agent, I was the buyer's agent. We have a nice relationship. She called me. I had listings, I had showings. I'm messing everything up today. I had showings scheduled from like 2 o'clock on.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me for 11, and I was like, could you do 1:30? She said, no, it's his lunch break. He's leaving on his lunch break to go over and look at it. And I'm like, okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
If he's willing to run over on his lunch break to look at this house,
Mhm.
he's serious.
Mhm.
And he ended up winning the offer.
Oh,
Mhm.
how fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Why did I just get goosebumps?
Why?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I felt it.
Really? Yeah. He's cute, but his agent is Maureen Handy. She's awesome. She knows that area. In a weird twist, I told her when I did my research, she had sold that house like three
times ago?
sales before
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah. So she was
Oh.
familiar with it.
That's great.
Yeah, and she's great to work with.
Mm.
So,
But I'm sure she let her client know that too.
of course.
And that probably brought comfort to that buyer
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
And I know your clients take care of their homes. I mean, I think that you sort of have that conversation like, okay, this is, you've done a great job, or this is something that we need to improve
Yeah.
on, and they
Yeah.
do it. So,
Yeah.
again, you said, I'm not a jerk, and you really aren't a jerk.
Sometimes I can be a jerk. Depends on who you ask. But
I do have a couple key points here. So the better question buyers should ask isn't should I wait, but am I prepared to act if the right opportunity comes along?
that's Perfect.
I think that is perfect. I'm going to read that again. Am I prepared to act if the right opportunity comes along? So I love that question because I don't want to say wishy-washy. I don't really know what the term is, but sometimes people are, oh yeah, like, if the right one comes along, then yeah, I'll jump. But that might be 6 months from now. That might be a year from now, and you might not be prepared. But you don't know unless you're having that conversation,
Right.
unless you have that pre-approval. Do you have to sell a house in order to purchase? Have that timeline set up. Set yourself up for success.
What we're seeing a lot now too is people thinking that they have to put these big down payments down.
Oh yeah.
You really don't.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't. And if you have X amount and you want to try to put down 5% and you're a strong buyer, I'd much rather you keep that extra, if you're not putting down 20%, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but keep that extra in your pocket in case you need it for something.
Yeah.
Right. So there are a lot of, there are a lot of questions, but the most important thing would be sit down with a buyer's agent, have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, revamping my buyer presentation, my seller presentation, but there's this buzz about having to sign a buyer's agent agreement
Mm-hmm.
before you go look at homes. I think it's worth its weight in gold because there's a lot of things that us as buyer's agents can help you with. For example, the third-party websites, back to 23 Sunset.
Yeah.
We knew Monday evening that we were accepting that offer, but until I have the signed agreement
Mm-hmm.
and the deposit, I don't flag it as contingent in MLS. So it took us a little bit. It was still active on
Mm-hmm.
Monday, but the average consumer doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's a phone call. And the consumer really can't call the agent directly and know those questions to ask. But if you have a great buyer's agent, they're going to call. We do have a signed
Yeah.
offer. We're just waiting for the deposit. Then your hopes aren't up.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I recently reached out. One of my friends is looking for a house, and I reached out to the listing agent of a property she was interested in. Finally got back to me, and it's said active in MLS, and they said, "Oh, we have an accepted offer. We're negotiating home inspection."
Yeah,
And I
that's
said,
been happening a lot.
"I'm like, oh, what?"
It's been happening a
Like,
lot.
then market, because I have somebody who is gonna be disappointed.
I had one in Rochester that was that way, and it was not marked as contingent or under agreement. I want to say for a month.
Ugh.
And I kept reaching out, almost like being that little bees. What's going on?
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Key insight I want to say is timing the market doesn't mean predicting the future. It means understanding the present and being positioned to move.
Right.
And I think that, and again, that could be for a seller too. I think yeah, predicting the future means understanding the present and being positioned to move. It could be for both buyers and sellers. I think so.
Oh, 100%. I have buyers right now that are completely adorable, and they know where they want to be. I still send them the listings if they come up that I think could be a good match for them, but she'll respond back and say, "No." Like I just sent her one that was it's actually super close. She lives right now with her parents, and she's like, "I think I want to be a little bit farther
It's a
away."
little too close.
But a good agent too will keep giving you, because sometimes you just don't know,
Mhm.
right? You
Yeah.
just you don't know what you don't know. So sending those, maybe taking a peek, maybe doing a drive by,
Yeah.
you never know.
Before we move on to what buyers need to do to not miss out, we do have a question from Ginny Wandell, who is a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She's actually going to do coffee and conversations this morning. We announced that last Saturday. She snuck in here and gave a little shout out. And so if you want to come by and speak with Ginny Wandell, she's going to be here at the office. I don't know what her time is today. I think she starts at 9, but I'm not sure. I'll get that for you before we end the show, because she might buzz in here for a second. But if you want to have a conversation with Ginny about buying or selling real estate, she'll be here at the office, and she'll make you a cup of coffee too. But she has a question. So good morning, Melissa and Kristen. Why should a buyer wait to buy or not wait?
I think the only reason you would wait is because you're not quite ready.
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's saving some more money. Maybe it's, you're not sure what you want to do. You're not sure of your situation. But I think if you're ready, why wait?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, I'm thinking back to the buyers that I was just talking about. They came to me, they're young, they want to buy a house, but with everyone that we look at, with everyone that we talk about, they're learning.
Mm-hmm.
They're learning maybe what they like, what they don't like. You're not going to know until you start looking,
Right.
right?
So that moves on to what buyers need to do to not miss out. So buyers must be fully prepared before they start looking, not while they're falling in love with a house. Because again, someone could have seen your listing on Wednesday. They weren't pre-approved. They didn't know if they were going to be able to afford. Could have been going through that process. Come Monday, they could have been pre-approved. But it's like, on your perspective, it's, where have you been? You weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Pre-approval matters more than buyers realize. Sellers expect strong financing and confidence that the buyer can close.
And going back to the accepted offer, once she submitted the offer, the next voicemail that I got was from his lender.
Yeah, that's
And that is
perfect.
always, and I love to work with Christine Fisk at Harbor One, soon to be Eastern Bank. And we work together. That's our tag team too, is reach out to that. Once I submit it, reach out, tell them what a great buyer they are, give them a little bit of specifics without giving everything away. But it makes us as a team seem so much more competent.
Mm-hmm. The next 3 points I have for what buyers need to do to not miss out, I think are crucial to that open communication with either their agent or with their loan officers. So the first one is their maximum comfort payment, not just what they qualify for. When I was going through the process of being pre-approved, and I tell this all the time, with Jasmine Glasgow from American Mortgage, is she said, this is what you're approved for, but what are you comfortable with monthly?
Yeah.
And we'll work backwards.
Yeah.
So we came up with what, of course, interest rates change it a little bit over time, because it took me a year and a half to
And what people
finally
don't
find
realize,
something.
Mel, is that the taxes in the town greatly affect
Yes.
so as you start going through it, like back to my cute little first time buyers, that's one of the things they know, that taxes can greatly affect your monthly payment.
Yeah.
So maybe we focus on the towns with the lower tax rate.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you love something, then we kind of work backwards and come down a little bit in your purchase price because we're going to make up for that tax.
Yeah. What's that saying? That what's guaranteed in life is death and taxes.
Yeah.
Life, death, and taxes. How much cash they need for a down payment, inspections, and closing. So during your buyer presentation, do you go over those
Everything.
points? Okay.
My whole goal at the buyer presentation is to make sure that they walk out and that's what I say. If you fall in love with something tomorrow, you may not remember everything that we've talked about, but at least it's tucked back there. Like, you need a checkbook. You need something. You need online banking.
Yeah.
You need some way to get that deposit, because a lot of, I don't know, what's the young generation, millennial?
No, I'm a millennial.
So
then
what's under you?
Gen
Z.
Gen Z. Yeah.
Gen Z, they don't have checkbooks.
Oh, I know.
So you might need to get, we've moved into deposit link and other ways to get it, but like, that's something we don't want to be scrambling at the last minute looking for a way to get your deposit over.
I know. Well, I think we should all learn how to write a check. I remember my Nana teaching me how to write a check. I have a checkbook.
Yeah.
I couldn't do an online payment one time recently, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just write a check." And they're like, "Oh, we don't
accept checks."
And I was like,
Stop it.
"What? Well, how do you want me to pay this bill?"
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, yes. And what terms they are flexible on and what they are not. So again, I knocked my microphone. Again, you go through this during your buyer presentation, I'm assuming, and go through that offer and what are some terms in that offer that you can negotiate and ones that you can't.
Or like, do you need central AC? Is that a non-negotiable?
Yeah.
Right? Like, is that something, as we're looking at, because sometimes the buyers go through with, what's the saying? Like, glassy eyes, like they're all excited.
Oh, rose-colored glasses.
And then all of a sudden you're like,
Is
oh,
that the thing?
wait, this does not. And they're like, oh, wait a second.
Oh.
So one of the more serious repeat showings for 23 Sunset, ultimately, his first response was, what is it going to take to get this house?
Yeah.
And then it quickly pivoted once they had time to think about it to, you know what? It might be a little too small for us.
I'm laughing because when I bought my Jeep, I had it for probably a month. And I remember looking up and being like, oh, I don't have a sun. It didn't matter to me.
Yeah,
So
'cause
like
you
it
were like-
wasn't no, like it wasn't like I have to buy a car with the sunroof because I had always had a sunroof before, but I never opened it. I
Yeah.
wasn't like,
Yeah.
and I think because my eyes are sensitive that like I don't need that extra glare in my car. So I didn't even it was not even a
That is-
consideration that I was like, oh, I didn't even but moving forward, I would probably want a house with AC. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have central AC in my house right now, and I'm like, oh, how can I get it? I need it.
Yeah.
But that made me laugh because I'm like, oh, I don't have a sunroof. It just didn't matter to
Yeah,
me.
that's right. That's right.
Okay, so always knowing what's on the market. So that's sort of our next talking point. So public listing sites often lag behind what's actually happening in the market. And we say that because the best form of communication, I guess, of getting that listing is through MLS directly. So in order to get that, you hook up with a buyer's agent.
So what's interesting on the way here this morning, I thought it used to be way before my time, you had to have an agent. You had to be working with an agent to get access to the MLS.
Mhm.
And it is not like that anymore.
Mm.
You can pull third-party sites, pull from MLS, and you're able to get that information. But is that information accurate?
Right.
And that's the key to this whole, like we said, sometimes it's something's under agreement. You get your heart set on it. You're going to go look at it on Thursday. Little do you know, they have 5 offers
Mhm.
they're negotiating through. Again, it's a phone call.
Well, the number one information that is not accurate on those third party sites is who the listing agent is.
Oh,
Because
not
if they
even.
say, if you see a button that says talk to the listing agent or talk to an agent or
More information.
more information here, you are getting connected to somebody who is buying that lead.
I sound like a bitter, broken record when I go over this because this is the bane of my existence is people who don't understand.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's an example. You see something, drive by.
Yeah.
A sign will be in the yard and there should be a phone number. Call that phone number. Do not click more information. I'd like to see this house. You are going to get somebody who has no idea about this.
Yeah.
They're purchasing leads.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that. They're trying to make a living. I totally get it. But if you click that button thinking you're going to get somebody who knows every inch of that house, you're not.
And if you're working with a buyer's agent, send that information, send that listing if you didn't get it from your agent, send it to them and they do that research. We know what to ask. We know what to say and sort of it's different when an agent calls you and a buyer calls you directly because you can tell the difference right away.
Right.
And it's not insulting at all. It's just they know exactly what to ask, how to conduct that conversation. So it's not like, oh my gosh, like, and we say this when we have buyers at houses that have like Ring doorbells and things like that. Like, don't give it all away in the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh yeah, because remember that time I was at one of your open houses and somebody was ripping it apart and then they ended up submitting an offer and I was like, oh, by the way, this person was like ripping the house apart. So they might be coming back with some information if they do a home inspection and everything because they've already were talking about it. So
They showed us.
and they showed and they didn't get their offer accepted. Okay, always knowing what's on the market. So again, being in constant contact with your agent.
And I think a good talking point, public listing sites often lag behind what is actually happening in the market. And that's true.
Mhm.
It is true.
Mhm.
Reach out to the agent.
Yeah.
Find out, they could have had a lot of activity. It could be, understanding part of, I struggle with with being in this business because we're in this shroud of mystery and we can't talk about anything. And
That's
but you know,
crazy.
my fiduciary responsibility is either with my seller or my buyer. But I always say, you may have a listing, I may have a buyer. Let's figure out, they want to buy, they want to sell. Let's
Yeah.
figure out how to make it happen.
I love this point right here because I watched this happen all week, actually. A strong buyer's agent watches listings daily, knows what's coming soon, has conversations with other agents before homes even hit the market. So it's a new year. Everyone's excited. It's like everyone goes back to the gym in January.
Yeah.
Everyone comes back to the office in
Yeah.
January. We've had so many agents here back in the office, and we're even having an office meeting next week. So we're going to have even more agents here coming back, working from here, and just having that conversations with each other. There was a domino effect happening. I think yesterday, somebody came in and said, "Hey, does anyone have a buyer for this?" And they said, "I do." "Oh, can I get in before, it goes on? Can I do this? Oh, I have a rental coming on. Oh, my seller rental."
Mm-hmm.
It was like ping pong.
Yep.
And we were like, "What?" So it was like we set up 4 dominoes that could potentially happen just by having one conversation here
Yep.
in the office.
Yep.
And these conversations should be happening everywhere
Right.
because, and Sharon says it, nobody sells a listing quite like a listing agent.
So I have another listing. I'm doing an open house after this from 12 to 2. It's at 211 Cherry Street in Bridgewater. And we had an open house last weekend, and an agent in my market just got something very similar under agreement. It had been on for a while. First thing I did, call her. We had worked together.
Mhm.
We've worked together a couple of times actually, and got her feedback. What was you? She had been on the market, I think, since September. So September, October, November, December, January. It's been on for 5 months. No price adjustments, no price changes. And she just said my seller was not in a rush. It's a
Yeah.
great house. He wanted to list it. He wanted to stay the course. And guess what? It worked because he just got an accepted offer.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, works for him.
Yep.
Again, it's if you are not in a rush, then do what you can.
That's right.
Buyers need to be responsive. If your agent calls or texts about new listings, timing matters. So again, timing does matter. Of course, we all have lives. We all have to work. There are going to be times where you can't see a property, but a buyer's agent can preview that property for you. They can take videos. They can say, "Hey, I'm going to go and look at it for you. If you love the video or pictures that I send you, let's go to the open house this weekend."
They can do some digging. Take 30 minutes and do some digging, because we also don't want you to focus on something that's not going to ultimately pan out. Because again, I don't know about you, but I feel like 2026 is we ought to buckle up, because I feel like it's going to be busy. There's a lot
I
of
think
pent
it's
up
gonna be
buyer,
busy.
energy, and my phone is literally ringing off the hook with people who are like, "Oh, I'm sending you my father who, needs this," or, "Do you sell in this area?" It's
Yeah.
busy. It's going to be busy.
Yeah.
So in fact, and one of the key insights here is, in fast moving markets, awareness is a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And that is so true.
Well, that gets me to scheduling showings and attending open houses strategically. So the first buyers through the door often have the strongest position. I think that they have the strongest position because they have the most amount of time to think about it
Yeah.
and come up with the best position for an offer. I love that you allow showings before your open house. Not everybody does. It drove me nuts as a buyer myself, because I work and sometimes I can't, and I work the weekend. So sometimes I couldn't make an open house. And so I had to miss out.
And let's also remind people that ultimately it's not my decision, it's the seller's
Yeah.
decision. But you know what? If you are, sitting down with your sellers and explaining to them, "Listen, we have people at work, we
Yeah.
have this, we have to, let's open it up. Our job is to sell it and expose it to as many people as we can." Sometimes 11 to 12 on a Saturday isn't going to get everybody.
Yeah. The 1 hours. What's up with the 1 hours?
I don't know.
Okay. Waiting until later in the week can mean multiple offers already in hand. You already had an offer in hand going into your open house.
Yep.
Sellers mentally committing to another buyer. Curious, did the first offer that you got, was that the one that won?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And you got multiple.
We ended up with multiple offers. They were all kind of similar. Yeah, and ultimately he you know what? And I do think that does, a lot of things play into it. Your buyer's agent, the fact that he wanted to get in early, the fact that he was able to look at the house freely, see it as it was, and the communication with the buyer's agent, ultimately he was our safest bet.
Some preparation tips before either an open house for a buyer or a private showing is reviewing the photos, disclosures, and comps before seeing the house. Walking in knowing whether this is a possible yes or a possible no. So again, setting the expectation for yourself. I think that sometimes photos can be deceiving. I think sometimes certain photos are left out intentionally that you can't see certain things. It happens.
Yeah.
Especially with virtually staged properties.
Yeah.
A lot of the times people walk in and they're surprised that it's a vacant house because some of these AI things, like, you don't even know if they're real or not. I guess that's the point of it. But a lot of virtually staged homes, you walk in, you're like, oh, and I
There's a
understand
rumor
the point of them.
There's a rumor that we should be anyways. I'm gonna cough.
Disclose that it's virtually staged.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you should.
Absolutely.
And I do see that a lot in a disclosure that, this is virtually staged and things like that. But just be aware that sometimes that is disappointing. To walk in. The purpose of it is to give that imagination of what you could do with the space. I totally
And on
get
the flip
that.
side, that's why it is important to see a house in person, especially if you
Yes.
do a drive-by and the location, what can't we change? We can't change the location.
Yeah.
You can change the condition. You
Yeah.
can do
Yeah.
updates. So if you're not afraid of a little bit of work, but if location works, always go look at it because sometimes you're also pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Pictures, it's our job as listing agents to portray the house in its best light as we see fit to get people through the door.
Yeah. Being able to be prepared. So with those disclosures and comps, you lean on your agent for that. And the agent should be setting that expectation of, okay, and I'm sure you do this when your buyers are really falling in love with something, you run comps to make sure
It's the first thing I do.
yeah, then make sure that property is priced according, again, to the condition that it's in, to the location that it's in, because we never want our buyers to purchase something that is just not priced right.
I tell my buyers the worst thing in the world would be for you to come back to me and say, "How could you let me buy this house?"
Mm-hmm.
I want to give them enough information that they can make an informed decision.
Yeah. I heard recently a buyer say, you know what, we know that we overpaid for our house, but it's our forever home.
Yeah.
And we're okay with that
Yeah.
because we love it. It was the emotional value. That's something that we can't gauge. And we talk about that a lot is we can give you the market value of a house, but we can't gauge what that emotional value is. And that comes into factor when there's multiple offers. How badly do you want it?
And when a house is priced appropriately.
Yeah. And that's why we see so many over asking offers is because that is emotion driven. It's putting your best foot forward and what you can afford, because there is a limitation there. But what is that emotional value? We can't gauge that. That is something that buyers have to come up with on their own.
I'll take, as we're getting closer, I'm going to take 2 minutes and tell one of my favorite stories.
Okay.
Buyer looking. She wanted to be in Marion. She'd already lived in Marion, and Marion is a beautiful coastal town. If you knows about it, it's on the south coast. Mattapoisett, Rochester, Marion, beautiful. Her budget, however, didn't support Marion,
Mm-hmm.
so we started looking like in Wareham, and we looked and looked and looked. And this house came on. It was literally it was on the same street that she lived on, a couple doors down. It was, I think, maybe an estate sale, but I'm not quite sure. It came on, and her first thing was, we were going back and forth texting. She's like, "Oh, it's just out of my price range." So we came back to it, didn't sell. I don't know if it went under agreement, what happened. It came back as a price reduction about a month later. And I swooped right in. We went there on a Wednesday. We knew exactly what her budget was. This was a referral from Christine Fisk. Christine and I knew exactly where she could be. So I said, what's the harm in putting in an offer? If you like it, has tons of potential, put in an offer at your top. We don't ever have to worry about haggling back and forth.
Yeah.
They may accept it. They
Mhm.
may just want to. We can do a quick close. We put an offer in for $25,000 less, and we
Yeah.
ended up getting it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Had she kept in that idea of, oh, it's overpriced, I can't afford it.
Mhm.
You never know. I mean, the worst, if your agent's willing to put the offer in
Yeah.
and able
What's
to
the worst that can happen? They say no.
but they didn't. We were up
Yeah.
against another offer and we ended up winning. They moved in right before Thanksgiving. They're happy as anything.
I'm sure
I
that
went-
move was very easy for them living on the same street.
Went down the other day right before Christmas. She does these origami ornaments. Her whole Christmas tree was all set up
Oh,
with all the origami.
cute.
She's like, pick one. But they're so happy.
Oh, I love that.
And that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
You know, I'll pat myself on the back if we didn't take that risk. If you don't have a buyer who's willing to think outside the box. And my thing was, if worse comes to worse, like if they come back and counteroffer, we can't.
Yeah.
We're at our top.
Yeah, we're at our top.
And it worked out.
I do have a message from Jenny Wandell. She has a new listing coming on, so I'm going to promote that. And then I want you to promote your open houses this weekend, and then we'll do final thoughts. So, Classic Cape. So Jenny Wandell, again, full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She has a new listing coming on, Classic Cape in North Pembroke. 3-bath with an in-law apartment, lots of great features, beautiful grounds, in-ground pool, backs up to peaceful forest land. Price will be just over $700,000.
Perfect. Where's that again?
It is in Pembroke, North
Oh,
Pembroke. So
okay.
again, if you're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with an in-law in North Pembroke, just over 700, give Ginny Wandell a call. Let me get her number, 781-354-0723. Again, 781-354-0723. Promote your open houses this weekend, Kristen.
Wait 1 second. I just want to talk about, let's tidy this up
Oh,
because I
okay.
feel like this is great.
Okay.
Buyer's agents are not just door openers. They are market strategists.
Oh, there you go.
Agents must track listings daily, communicate quickly and clearly, and educate buyers on urgency without creating panic. Proactive agents talk to listing agents early, ask the right questions, and prepare buyers for realistic outcomes. Offers should be discussed before the perfect house appears, not after. That, I think, is huge. And the difference between winning and losing often comes down to agent preparation and communication.
Yeah, I think that's great.
We should have a mic drop for that one.
Mic drop.
Because that's true. That is 100%. The difference between winning is knowing, like you said, what your monthly is, what your budget is, where you want to be. And if you have all those things, you can either submit an offer or walk away.
Another couple quick points. So again, having these conversations with your buyer's agent. So acting quickly does not mean skipping important steps.
Yes.
Buyers should understand inspection rights. So we talked about the home inspection changes, financing timelines, what contingencies protect them. These are conversations that you should be having with your buyer's agent. And if you don't have a buyer's agent, I have a very fantastic one sitting right next to me, and we'll give her contact information. But knowing when to walk away is just as important as knowing when to move forward.
And a good agent will give you their feedback like, okay, the one I just talked about, she had an offer in on one, and I finally had to say, we have to walk away.
Yeah.
It was too much work for her. Too much.
Yes. I walked away after my first home inspection. I had very sort of quickly after I got pre-approved, I did get an accepted offer on a home. I've talked about this before. I had a home inspection. We were negotiating and something just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Good luck.
And a good agent will not pressure you. They'll support you.
Yeah. And luckily I had myself as my agent. So
buyers who succeed aren't luckier. They're just better prepared. The market rewards buyers who understand timing isn't all about waiting, it's about readiness.
Mhm.
And working with a knowledgeable professional makes the difference between frustration and success. You don't time the market by standing still, you time it by being ready when the right home appears.
I love it. I love that as a final thought.
Mhm.
Where are you going to be this weekend?
Today, I am at 211 Cherry Street in Bridgewater. It is a 4-bedroom custom home. Oh, God, this house has so much potential. We just had a price adjustment. They are under contract, so it's a super motivated seller. We're on at $799. It is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath custom colonial with a beautiful backyard, nice corner lot, 1.13 acres,
Wow.
privacy, great. I also have 170 Pleasant Street in Whitman on. It is a renovated, it was renovated from a 2-family to a single family, could very easily be reverted back. And you could have a buyer, owner occupied thing
Yeah.
going on, and then you could rent up the upstairs. And then tomorrow I am at Cochise Estates, which I haven't been in a couple of weeks.
You haven't?
No.
Oh.
Helping the McNamara Horton Group with some new construction. So if you want a beautiful colonial that needs a little bit of zhuzhing up, come see me at Cherry Street. If you want an owner-occupied multifamily, come see me at 170 Pleasant Street. We don't have a listing, open house listed for that until next week, but happy to do private showings. And then CE, I'll be there tomorrow from 10 to 2.
Yeah, and you love new construction, so she
Love
would
new
love to walk
construction.
you around. What are some final thoughts? I know I do have a couple other open houses. Oh, well, really just one. So Mary Horton has a listing, 848 Plain Street, Unit 23 in Marshfield. She's going to be there tomorrow from 10:30 to 12:30. That is a condo on the market for $485. And of course, Cushing
Dude, who
Trails.
doesn't want to live in Marshfield?
I know, right? Cushing Trails every Saturday and Sunday. That's in Hanson. That's Sharon and Mary's a new construction listing that every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 12. And then, of course, Cochise Estates every Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2. And Cochise Estates is in West Bridgewater. So if you're looking for new construction in West Bridgewater or new construction in Hanson, we got exactly what you're looking for. Come on down.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. What do you think?
Final thoughts. Talk to a buyer's agent. If you want to talk to me, feel free. Call
Give
me.
your contact information.
617-448-4896. You can always reach out to Mel at the office. She can get us in contact.
Give your phone number
I'm
one
on
more time.
Facebook, 617-448-4896. Kristen at bostonconnect.com for email. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. But even just a conversation,
Yeah,
is worth the conversation, and see if you're ready.
Yeah. If you'd like to have a conversation with either Kristen or any of our agents here at Boston Connect Real Estate, you can go to bostonconnect.com. You can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com to find all of our past shows, or just type in Talk Real Estate Roundtable in your podcast app. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And thank you, Kristen, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Tim. Thank you. Go
Bye.
Pats. Woo!
Yeah, go Pats.
Oh,
Come
go
on.
Pats.
Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just